Welcome back to Paper Expressions video. Today we're going to be making this cute little Halloween treat bag holder, and you can see the little cello bag in there. So let's get started. And just cut it in half. Now we're going to cut 2 inches off the end of one of the pieces, and we're not going to need that, so just set it aside. And then we are going to score this, so get your bone folder, and we're going to score this at 1.5 inches. And then at 7 3/4, so score that down, and then set that one aside, and take the big piece, and we're going to score that at 2 inches, and at 8 1/4. Just run your bone folder down the crease like that, and that gives you a nice, good, solid piece there. So now we can put that away. We're going to use the Scary Skeleton stamp set, and you can see one of them's tipped over. This is in the catalog. We're going to use all of the stamps. So let's get started with our stamping. I'm going to take the skeleton and I'm going to set him aside. And first of all, I'm going to open our basic black. Set him here. Now, one thing before we do that. Take the big, on the long piece, take the big flap, fold it over, get your bone folder so you get a good crease, and then take our snell and give it a good coat and fold it over like this. Now the reason we're going to do this fold over is this gives the top of the bag a little more stiffened so that it's not quite as flimsy. When I stamp 2 pieces like this, I like to get them together, and the reason is because then if I want them to be half off, I can stamp across that and I've got both edges automatically. So just start stamping bats just wherever you think the bats might want to reside, and it doesn't matter, don't get them all running the same way. And put a few bats on there, get some more out here, get them out here on the edges. Again, we got one there, and I'm not going to stamp the whole thing. So now let's get some cats. And again, twist the cat around so that they don't all go the same direction. And some of the cats want to run off the edge. Put one in the middle, put him up here, and just put cats all over until you get what you think is enough. And then take the words, which of course is happy haunting, and put some words on this. And again, turn them around and turn them upside down, and just work them in where you think that the words ought to be. And don't worry about whether it's going to, be perfect or not. You don't want it symmetrical. As Gwen will attest to you, I'm an engineer and I tend to make these very symmetrical, and it drives her absolutely crazy. Now, I'm not going to stamp the whole thing. So as you can see, I got it to this point when I had it all stamped, and I thought it was just a little bit boring. So what I did is I took the color spritzer tool, and I took the Elegant Eggplant marker, and I loaded it up. Twist this down. Remember, don't twist this too hard so you don't break it. And with those two together, just spritz a little extra color. And you can actually do this before you stamp if you want to, until you think that it looks like it gives a little bit more texture. It's a little muddy, and that's okay, because that's the effect that you want to get for Halloween, of course. And then put the cat back on the marker, and we'll set that aside. Now, using the magic of video, I have a set here that's completely done, and you can see the effect and see the look on that. Now, when it's all stamped, take a piece of Elegant Eggplant cardstock and cut it at 1 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then take your eyelet border punch and slide the card in. Now there's a center piece that aligns up to the center, and actually I never use that. I always turn it over, and if you can see where the cardstock is, see it slide into the edge. I just put it over where it's nearly to the edge, and that's where I like to start. And I just punch, and then I run this out, and I match the pattern of what's punched to what's already on the die, on the punch. And I stamp it, and I got it actually too far, but that's okay. And I punch, And you can still see that even if you miss a piece, as long as you lined it up properly, you get it so that you get a nice even. And now, it'll make a mess on your table, and that's okay. Just slide it off and throw it in the trash can. Take this piece of elegant eggplant and put some Snell on it. And take the longer piece, and on the 1 1/4, give it a fold with your bone folder. And then just line it up where it's nice and even. You want a good lace. Good piece of lace like that. And see, now you've got a nice good trim piece, and that forms the top of the bag, and it's going to look really kind of cute. Now, this is the bottom part of this piece goes on the inside of the other piece. This is the one we folded over. Just crease that in like that. Let it sit there. Pull the red off the sticky strip. If I can get that. Sorry, I got off camera. I forget sometimes that people are watching. I get in my own little world. Now this is the way I align them. Whatever works for you, do it. This drives Gwen crazy when I do it that way, but it seems to work for me. So now, that forms the basis for the bag, and we're ready now to make the piece here so that we can trim it up. So take a piece of basic black that's cut to 2 1/4 by 2 5/8, and what we're going to do is we're going to stamp it in Versamark, and we're going to use the white detail embossing powder. So take your skeleton here and Versamark him up. Make sure he's got plenty on him, and then put him right down on the cardstock. Pull him off, and then put your cover back on your Versamark and get your embossing buddy here, the little tray, and pick up your card, put him in there, and take your white detail powder and just pour it over there, and don't be bashful. Get the lid back on that. Pick up the card and give it a good shake so that all of the powder gets down there and coats that little skeleton up good. And then what you can do is just knock him off. And if he's got any extra little white powder on there, just take your thumb and just careful. And that way you can just knock all of the rest of the powder back in your powder pal tray. Alright, now we're going to set that aside, and again I'm not going to actually emboss it, but using the magic of video, there's one that I've previously embossed, and you can see that he's kind of cute. Now, you can actually get this same effect if you take your white craft pad like this and use the clear embossing powder, and you'll get exactly the same effect. Now, take your ticket corner punch, and take your little skeleton, and let's just punch the corners out of the little skeleton. Now be sure and turn your punch upside down when you're doing this, and be sure and knock the piece out each time. That way it doesn't get jammed up on the inside, and you just sweep those off, and there he is. Now put some Snell on that. And then we're going to take a piece of elegant eggplant that I've cut at 2 1/2 and 2 by 2 7/8. And just center him in there like this. There we are. Then put some adhesive on the elegant eggplant. And get yourself a piece of old olive that I have cut at 2 3/4 by 3 1/8. And you can see I've done the corners on all of these, and that gives it a nice three-dimensional look. Okay. To adhere this to the card, what I've done is I put sticky strip right here. It's not a card, it's a treat bag, I'm sorry. But we're still going to adhere it. So I pull the sticky strip off and open that up and just put him where you think he'll look good. About centered, down a little bit. Now to get the treat bag to stay closed, I've done is I've taken a piece of self-adhesive Velcro and I've stuck it to the card, to the top of the old olive cardstock. And now I'm going to place that where I want it, and as I close this, that'll just stick the Velcro right into place, and it'll always be centered, and you don't have to worry about it. And you can see that just opens and closes just like that. Now that completes the treat bag. To put the bag on the inside, see there's the cello bag, and I put a little piece of sticky strip here, and that keeps the bag from sliding out. And I put that over like this, and this, as it folds over, keeps the treats from falling out, and of course it's just self-aligned, and that completes our little Halloween treat bag. So, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.